Welcome to another edition of Talking Models. Today we're going to take a look at Pestilence Models Creature Box Art Tribute. How many of you remember these as a kid? Walking into that store and seeing the new Aurora Creature Kit. Oh, the memories. All the excitement. I bet you're thinking, aren't you? Well, today I'm blessed to be able to show you their newest release, the Creature Box Art Tribute. And it's a beauty. I'm going to kind of spin this around so you can kind of take a look at it and see everything and all the detail and the beauty that they put into this. It's sculpted by Jeff Yagher and produced by Mark from Pestilence Models. I'll have his contact information at the end of the video in the description, and you can contact him and get one of these beauties. I'm going to spin it around. You can see it's the box art. Here it is. Comes with two different nameplates. I chose to use this one. This one says the creature, the other says creature. Depends which one you want to use. This to me is more like the box art. So we'll spin them around. And you can see everything that you saw in that box art is in this sculpt. You've got the lizard just waiting to see what the creature's going to do so he can follow suit on the rocks. You've got the rocks on the base in which the creature stands on, all the different dirt and sand that surrounds him. It's just a beautiful, even the little tree, everything is there. Well, we're going to go into what I did to bring this one to life, if you will. Now, recently I had purchased a complete set of paints from good old Ken over at Badger, and I used that one probably 90% on this kit. And I gotta say, I love them. They're awesome paints. And it's these babies right here. The Freak Flex line for the airbrush and the little bottles here. I'll tell you, these things are a breeze to blow through the airbrush. And this one was used exclusively with the Patriot Extreme 105, which handled it beautifully. So here we go. We're going to start with the base like always. And I'll show you a little bit and talk about what we did. So again, this was base coated in black. Everything was base coated in black. And I used Badger's primer for that. They have a black primer, comes in a big bottle. And I used that and just sprayed it through the brush. Now the black, for some reason, sprayed better than the gray in their primer line. Don't understand it. Maybe there's a little bit different pigment. I'm not sure. But spraying it, the black, was a total breeze. Just sprayed it, turned it on my Lazy Susan on my workbench, sprayed it all in black. And I started with the bottom of the base itself. Let me move this out of the way. For the ground, I just started enlisting a few different colors. For that, I came in with, where is it here? We had Cursed Earth, which is this one. That I basically started and sprayed the whole thing with Cursed Earth. Covered the whole base, all the way around, hit all the high points, still leaving some of the black to show through for your shadowing. After that was done, I enlisted some Rotten Tooth Tan. Love this color. It's great for nails and teeth and that dirty, grimy look. I gently airbrushed some of that over the original color. Just not as heavy, just certain little highlights areas of the base itself. You know, just kind of pick up, follow the sculpt. You'll see the raised areas. Just keep going all the way around the base until you get everything covered. And you don't have to worry too much. Again, now if you get a little too heavy with that, just come in with some transparent black and kind of tone it back down a little bit. And I was going to stick with that color originally, and then I thought, you know, I want more of a yellow, sandy, dirty kind of look. So what I did then is I enlisted another one of the colors from the line as Nicotine Yellow. And what I did with that is I just went over the whole kit once again, but this time I hit heavier areas of all the raised areas that you see. Excuse me. Just went through and just really punched in the highlights. All the raised areas. Again, follow the sculpt. Jeff has a lot of detail in here. Along the base of the lines of the rocks. Any raised area. I just hit it pretty heavy with that. To just give it a a yellowish sandy look is what I wanted. I toyed with going with like a light sand color. I've seen many different creatures done with that, which I like, but I don't do anything normal. And I always go with a darker look, and that's, again, what ended up happening here. So after that, I enlisted transparent dark brown, and I came in and just started punching in some highlights in all the shadow areas. Everything here, any area you see shadows along the top of the rocks, all the way around. Back of the rocks, same thing. You want to punch in all the shadowed areas, the low-lying areas, if you will. And after I got done with that, I enlisted one of my other favorite colors, which is transparent raw umber. This is more like a yellowy brown look, and it just really gives you some depth. With that color, I just sprayed over the whole thing, not close, just back, and just kept spraying all the areas just to kind of bring it down and give it a different yellowish brown look. And I just kept doing that and working it all the way around, just light areas, don't go close. You want to just stay back about, I would say, 10-12 inches and just spray. Nice, evenly, 1, 2, 3. Think of a waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you just get that rhythm going. I'm a drummer, so I'm thinking rhythm. You get that going, and before you know it, you got a nice even coat. And once I had that done, I came back in with the transparent black and just really punched in a little bit more shadows, especially along where the rocks meet the base. Every area you see here, along the back, around the tree, just follow the sculpt. And just punch it in until you get that shadow that you want. You'll know when you get it. It's when you paint it for a while, you know what I'm saying. You know when it's right. And then leave it alone. Walk away. You know you don't, but walk away. And come back with a fresh eye in the morning. And lots of times for me, I'll say, boom. Sometimes I'll say, fail. And then you just touch it up a little bit. But if you don't eventually get to the point to where you're leave it alone, a model can take a month to do. And there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong. But you can spend so much time trying to get it perfect that you lose the joy and you lose the fun. It's nothing wrong. It's your eye. It's the way you want to paint it. So whatever it is what it is, right? It's all good. So once I was done with that, basically the ground was done. And I was happy with that, and I decided it's time to move on to the rocks. So with that, I enlisted a couple colors, again, sticking with the colors that I'm using here from the Freak Flex line. And I enlisted this color right here. We had Banji Gray and Gravestone Gray, which is a great color. Gravestone Gray was my primary color that I used. I just, over the black, just basically started airbrushing the whole rocks. Just every area that you see. Don't go too heavy. You want to keep some of that black in there just for some depth, and so you can see a little bit more of the grays pop as you build your colors. So complete covering of that Gravestone Gray. And then what I like to do is I came in with, again, the transparent raw umber. Yeah, transparent raw umber. And I started shadowing with that, giving it like some dirty yellowish look. On the rocks, again, he's coming from the water, so there's probably some moss, there's probably some different stains to the rocks, and I tried to incorporate that thought by using the transparent raw umber. And I like the result. So I just came in and just basically started hitting all the shadowed areas with it, just building up, making it a little bit dirty. And then, of course, what you do after you get that done is you kind of just stand back and look and think, okay, that's working. And what I wanted to do is punch up just the highlights of the rocks, all the points of the rocks. Every highlighted point on the rocks you want to hit with a highlight color. Again, follow the sculpt. Jeff has a lot of detail on there. For that, I enlisted their Banji Shadow Gray. And that was a good choice. I just came in and just hit all the highlights with that area. Come in a little bit closer. You don't want to do the 1, 2, 3 waltz thing. You want to just come in and hit all the highlights. Every point of the rock. Every highlight of the rock. And then you've got your highlights built in over natural progression of colors. And then I came in with the transparent black and just punched in the shadows, just deepened them up a little bit. And again, a little minor waltz on it, the 1, 2, 3 over the entire rock area, just to bring some of it down. And when you do that, you might notice that you might have to come in with that original highlight color. In this case was the Banshee's Shadow Gray. And just hit a little bit, just punch in a little bit more of the tips of the rocks for your highlights. And that's all I did with the rocks, which to me complements the base. Again, remember, with the kit, you want the base, everything to flow as you're building to the crescendo of the figure itself, or the, if it's a bust, to the figure, and then of course to the face. Then it was time to do Mr. Lizard. So again, sticking with these colors, we pulled out some more of the fine line here, and basically he was given a coat with Reptilious Green over the black. I just sprayed a complete base coat of this color, again leaving some of your black for contrast. Once I was done with that, I started coming in with little bits of the transparent raw umber and just hitting some of the shadows of it along where the gills and everything meet, along near the feet, just building in your shadows. Then I pulled out the Got Ill Green, and then what I did with that is just start punching a little bit more shadowing, building up the colors is a better way to say it. And I just kept working that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then what I did from there is I enlisted Graduous Colors Light Green, and I just started basically building up the higher points of it, you know, along his legs, top of his head, near the nose area. Just again, follow the sculpt, any of the highlighted areas. And then came in with the transparent black and just started punching in the shadows, deepening in the folds, so you've seen a little bit of a contrast from the shadows to the accents of the lizard. And then a little trick that I like to do with this is I pulled out my trusty Graduous Colors Iridescent Green, and I misted it over the lizard. Nothing heavy, just practice your little waltz, 1, 2, 3. Again, with iridescent paints, you don't want to get too close. The effect is to get back and mist it, just to give it that different look. If you get too close, you'll really see the green. And that's not what you want. You just kind of want to accent the color. And that's what was done with the lizard. Now for his gills, bottom of his feet area, top of the gill area here, that again was enlisted. What did I use on that one? I pulled in a couple different, another favorite of mine, Graduous Colors Yellow Ochre. Beautiful color, Ochre. And I just basically hit that, all the top areas of this, his gills, his fins, every area you see here, it was done with this color. And then what I'd like to do after that is just kind of hit it with a transparent raw umber, kind of tone it down, gives you that yellowish brown look. And then you want to accent a little bit closer where the fins here meet into the skin. I like to hit that either with a transparent black or a little bit heavier thin line with that transparent raw umber. And again, the same treatment down on his feet. Same treatment of this was done here. For his nails, Rotten Tooth Tan was painted on each nail, hand painted. And it just kind of finishes and gives you a nice contrast of a nail to the tops of the feet. And again, a little bit of transparent black over it, just kind of bring it down a little bit. And that's totally all I did with them there. The eye area of the lizard itself was airbrushed in with the Cursed Earth, and a little bit of a yellow over that yellow ochre. And then the center of the pupils was straight up black, and just hand brushed the pupil in. The sculpt, the detail is in there. Just kind of do a couple circles. The eye is done. And that was all I did with Mr. Lizard. So as you see, you have a lot of different color buildups. You have the grays, the yellowish browns, up into the green lizard, which is a little bit bolder than the creature, but I wanted that contrast. The tree itself over the black was just airbrushed with Graduous Colors Tie-in Brown, and just shadowed with transparent black. Now the last of the base piece was the nameplate itself, and again over the black I used a color that I really liked for the creature. If you notice in the box art on the name, you see it in a yellow. So I enlisted this beautiful color. It's called Cat's Eye Yellow from the Freak Flex line. And I just hand brushed that in. Just probably 2 or 3 coats. Just go light, let your colors build up. The green, I just basically used I think it was one of the paints from Delta Cream Coat. It was called Festive Green. And I just did 2 or 3 coats of that on the green to give it a little bit of a contrast. The blue background that you see, that was done with the Asphyxia Blue from the Freak Flex line. And that I switched over to my Badger Chrome airbrush because it's a little more detailed brush. And I just, over the black, just started building up the blue. Just start light, you'll see the slight difference. And then get a little bit closer and let it pop a little bit. And as you can see, it just gives it a nice little contrast from the blue to the yellow to the green. Then I just decided to simply, trying to use some of the colors in the box art, just went over here with straight up orange, and that also was from the Freak Flex line. It's just basically called Hot as Hell Orange, and you can just lightly build up your coats and just keep going till you get the color that you want. The rest of the sign was just straight up Delta Cream Coat black and just hand brushed on. And that's all I did with the sign. So now we're going to move on to Mr. Creature. Creature I've seen done many ways. I always seem to go a darker tone. This was similar to the Earthbound Studios Creature Big Head I did, but a little bit slightly different. Same concepts, but experimenting around a little bit more. So over the black for the creature, first thing I do is I come in with olive green, and then what I do is I airbrush the whole piece. You want to leave some of that black in to show the depth and the shadowing. So basically what I do is I just start airbrush, and I usually do the walls on each little crevice. Again, tons of detail. Just do the 1, 2, 3. It doesn't take long. You can have that done in no time. I left him right on here. That way he would be standing and I could just spin and do my airbrushing. So once I had that, I enlist it, Graduous Colors Light Green. And what I like to do with that is then I start coming in with the waltz technique. And I know that's going to stick with you. You're probably going to take your wife out dancing, admit it. And you want to do the 1, 2, 3. But hit it heavier. Just in the centers of each part of his skin. You'll see what I mean. I'll have pictures in here too. You just want to hit that highlight. And what I like to do when I get that far is just to kind of check my colors. So I come in with transparent black. And I start hitting the folds, the little lines in between each parts of his skin. First lightly. And then you want to come in as you work more and get your color balance. You want to come in real close with that and really hit it hard. But let it bleed onto each part of the skin. So you're going to have the lines bleeding onto the skin. Don't worry if you kind of wash some of it out, because you're going to come back in with that light green and you're going to really punch up your highlights. I want a little bit heavier in the front area with the green. Again, I've explained in other videos, I want the front to be the focal point. And then of course you go a little bit heavier on the back. You want to be able to flow your colors. Tops of his arms, fronts of his face, just areas that are kind of sticking out in bold, knee area, and kind of lighten it up as you go. On the tops of his feet, just keep working that light green in until you get the desired effect that you're looking for. The trick is coming back in with that transparent transparent black, and just making sure you bleed into the skin, but punching it hard in the line area. On the big head creature, I actually used transparent dark brown, which you can use that too, which would be a nice little contrast. Then you could kind of tone that down with the trans black a little bit. So basically you just keep working that back and forth till you get what you're looking for. And don't be afraid to use that light green to really punch up the centers of each of the skin areas to give you that greenish look that the creature has. Now with that is really all I did with the creature himself. Now on the top of his head and a little bit in the nose area, I brought out the iridescence once again, iridescent green. And what I like to do with that is I hit the top of his head area with it. Again, don't go close, just mist, and just mist a little bit on the feet, a little bit on the top of his hands, nothing major. The point where I went the heaviest is the top of his head. I just wanted that different look, that different color. And it really kind of makes it pop. If you haven't tried iridescent paints, give them a try. It really just opens up a whole new dynamic way to paint a model kit, especially when you get on the big heads from Earthbound Studios, Blackheart Models, all the different ones that are doing those amazing pieces. And I even used it, if you watch a few videos back, I used that iridescent blue on my Samara wall hanger, and it just gives a really striking results. So once that was done, I pretty much called the creature skin done, colors done. Now we're going to move on to all the gill areas on him. So what I did with that is I basically came in with basic orange, and I started hitting all those areas of the gills. You just want to go in and spray. Just stay back a little bit and hit with the orange. You'll get your rhythm going. Think waltz. 1, 2, 3. Keep it going all the way around. Backs of his legs, along his feet area, head, back, arms. Just hit it with that orange. Then I like to come in with, after I do that, with the transparent raw umber. And I start kind of bringing that orange down a little bit. You still want it to bleed through, but you kind of want to tame it down so it's not screaming. And then you take that transparent raw umber and you hit where the skin meets the gill area. You just spray it hard. Spray it hard. Spray it hard. Spray it hard. You get where I mean. Anywhere that gill area meets the skin, you want a distinct line. And you'll get that nice natural effect of it blending from the skin into the gills. Then what I did after that is I came in with the iridescent orange. And then of course what I do is take it and I just kind of hit each of the gill area with that. Not too close. Just stay back, a good 6 inches and just get yourself in the waltz and just spray it. I'm telling you, it works. Just a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All along the feet. In between the toe areas is orange where the webbing is, if you will. And just keep hitting it. And what it does, it just gives you that little pop of orange. It just kind of stands out and tells you something's different. When you dull coat it, it's just, I'm telling you, it's just amazing. And that is basically everything that I did with the creature, the gills, and the shadowing of him. You just keep going back in with your transparent raw umber, your transparent black, and just start shadowing. Coming back with your original color, just simply highlighting a little bit, and then you get what you see here. Now for his stomach area and below his chin, again, what you're doing is over the black, you're going to start building up some colors there. And what I did with that is I pulled out an old Comart color from the Steve Rojos creature color set, and this one is Rojos Green Flesh. And what I do with that is I just spray the whole stomach area and all below his mouth, if you will. And then the fun begins. You start building up the colors. I take the transparent raw umber and I spray the whole areas just to give it that brownish green. Gives you that, like I said, brownish look. But yet it's just a whole different hue. It just really works. Then I pull out again that yellow orange. And I start just hitting the highlights with it. Just in the centers of each part of his stomach. Hit it a little heavier here, a little heavier below his lip area. And then you just come back in with your transparent raw umber and you build up your shadows. You just hit every line in between, down the center, each little line here. Just kind of mist it real quick. And it just gives you a little bit of a depth and you're not washing your color because it's just transparent. And then I just kind of just 1, 2, 3, waltz it, you got it. And just a little bit tone it all down with some transparent black. And then again, you're going to want to come back in with that, in this case, the yellow orange, or whatever you decide for your main stomach color and chin area. And you just kind of punch in a little bit more heavier on the centers of each part of this area and below his mouth. And that is everything that I did with the stomach and chin. Lips were just basically airbrushed with dark red from the Jesse at Graduous Colors, and hit that a little heavier. His nails and teeth were done with Rotten Tooth Tan, and just light airbrush of transparent dark brown to kind of dirty him up a little bit. Eye area was used with the bleach bone tan, which I love for eye color. That was the basic color for his eyes. I just get a real fine brush, just take your time, fill it in there. Pupils were straight up. I did use the metallic black just to give it a different look. Just kind of fill in that circle. The sculpt is there, the details there. Brought in my red oxide for the bottom of the eye area, real thin brush, just kind of paint the bottom areas here of the eye, fill that in. And I like to take that and do like the back part of his lips too, just to give it a different red hue. And that was the creature from the Black Lagoon box art tribute from Pestilence Models. This kit is available now. If I were you, I'd jump on board. According to Mark, there's only going to be one run, one issue of this, no plans for a second issue. He went all in on this, guys. This is the bomb. He's got the Hunchback of Notre Dame coming out soon, and that's going to be a great one with Anthony Quinn as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and that's going to be a big one. So once in a while you get a gem that comes along, and once the run is done, it's done, one and done. And this is the case from what I understand for this beautiful kit. So hit Mark up, let me know what you think, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. Maybe you use some of these ideas to create your own masterpiece of a beautiful kit that's available to us today. Jeff Yagher just knocks these things out of the park, and this is a beautiful one to add to your collection. Bring back the childhood memories, bring back the Aurora days, and just have a beautiful kit in your collection. So please subscribe to this channel, get the word out, pass it along. Let's get moving. Let's get to 100 subscribers. Let's get this thing going. Share it with your friends. Share it with someone maybe starting new to the hobby that is wondering, what do I do? What's an airbrush? How do you do this? What's that? That's why we're here at Talking Models. Just kind of tell you what I've done. So thanks again for stopping in today to Talking Models. I appreciate your support of this channel and the support of the hobby that we all love. And again, thanks again for stopping in, and may God bless your day.